Oh hi, getting started in 10 minutes. If you have a story you want to talk bo post NTHE Discord. Discord. https Discord GG Beignet Tridix 8.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I am here to feel the politics with you. It is a nice sunny day. It's kind of playing havoc on my camera, but I think I got it nailed down. I got sunlight in the background. Disgusting, grotesque day star. It'll give you cancer. Be careful. So, anyway, yeah, I'm here to feel the politics with you because everything is political, and politics is all based on feelings. So, come on in, hop into the chat, and tell me how you feeling today. Uh, the I got some stories today. If you are feeling particularly strong about any specific story, hop into the Discord right there. There's a link to Discord. I can put it into the Twitch chat as well, I think.
Discord. https Discord GG Beignet Tridix 8.
Hop in there if you'd like and tell us how you're feeling, what kind of stories we should cover. And I am going to hop into the stream channel and talk to Thomas. In one sec, let me hop in there. Bam. Oh, hi. Good morning.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay, but I am a little bit sick, so that's why I sound
Sickness.
like shit.
You have the sickness. You got the crud in your throat. I can hear it.
Yeah.
That is a terrible fate. Uh, is it the Rona? Are you gonna die?
No, no, it's not the Rona.
I didn't think so. All right. So, yeah, the just got through the intro. Introduce yourself, please, Thomas. Tell all the wonderful people who you are.
Well, I'm Thomas. Hi.
Oh, good.
uh, yeah.
Nailed it.
It's funny. Almost anytime you get sick now, they're like, "Is it Corona?"
Is it the Rona? Yeah, we got to find out. It's
Well,
important to
but
know.
like my throat being really sore is like not a symptom that I experienced the two times that I had Corona,
I
but
know.
it's on the list,
It's
and
on
it's
the
like,
list.
hold
Yeah.
on a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is everything on the list?
The one time I got it, my knees hurt and I had a fever and then a headache and then it went away after a day. So I did pretty well. But um I'm obviously a perfect genetic specimen. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Oh, yes, yes.
uh, I, I can get over it pretty quick. Uh, uh, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in a little while.
Yeah, it's going good. Going good, except for being sick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, God, yeah, I updated my wardrobe the last couple weeks.
Oh my. Okay.
I had all my clothes that were like 10 years old. The jeans were starting to rip.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's time for new stuff. So I went out and I got new stuff.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's good. Um, yeah, I've been wearing the same cruddy old clothes for a while. 10 years is about right. Yeah, you wear the same pair of jeans for 10 years and then you buy a new one.
Yep.
Very very masculine of us. Uh,
Yo,
fitting
I
right
got
into the
the
profile.
I went to American Eagle for my jeans, and
Okay.
dude, these things feel like sweatpants.
I know they're stretchy these now.
So stretchy. What
Yeah,
the hell?
they're all elastic. Yeah, I noticed that too. Uh, they're not denim anymore. They're all just stretchy elastic. And you didn't know that because you hadn't bought jeans. It's in 10 years. So that is a thing that's
Yeah,
happened.
I
Within
was so surprised. I was like, "Oh my God, this is comfy."
uh, yeah, it used to be that they were uh, very thick, very difficult to move around into, walk around into, to flex. But now they're made differently. Maybe it's better.
Nice.
Maybe they wear out sooner, and we're going to complain about them. Maybe a year from now, you're going to complain that those stretchy things wore out sooner. I don't know. That
Uh,
the old denim does seem to last forever. Uh,
yeah. Well, jeans originally were made for like coal miners and shit.
well,
Like,
yeah, wasn't it
so you
like
could go down and they're thick enough that they can protect you from like spider bites and all that business.
yeah, I
Um, and like that's what they were designed to do. And then it became a fashion later on to wear them. But I'm not working in a coal mine, so I think I'm cool with him not being denim
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah. I read a story. I don't know how true it is that Levi himself.
You look a bit like the drummer from Pink Floyd. Anyone ever tell you that?
No, nobody's ever told me that, Gummo Rabbit. Thank you. I'll Google him up later to find out if I do look like the drummer for Pink Floyd. But yeah, I read a story about Levi himself went to uh, the California in a gold rush with a giant roll of denim, intending to turn it into tents that people could sleep in. And then nobody needed the tents, so he pivoted really quickly and turned it into pants because he saw people running around with holes in their pants and stuff like that. So I don't know how true that story is, but it's a nice fictional story, even if it's not true.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. I mean, even if it's not true, it's a good story. Like
it's a good story.
just like Johnny Appleseed, you know.
Yeah, Johnny Appleseed, not true, good story. Uh, the internet will lie to you. But hey, we were getting lied to about Columbus and Johnny Appleseed before the internet, so maybe it's not the internet's fault that everybody lies.
People like good stories.
Good stories are good, even if they're fiction. So today, let me see. You missed it on the last stream, but I did get raided on the last stream with like 6 or 7 people, and I was so excited, and I hated the sound and the little video that played when
Uh-huh.
when I got raided. So I made a new one, and I don't know if you'll hear it, but I'm gonna press it to make sure that it works. This is a test raid
All
before
right.
anybody gets in here. I'm gonna press the button, and hopefully it works properly.
That's a lot of nuts!
It just screams, "That's a lot of nuts," because anybody who would raid me is a nut, and they would bring all their nuts with them. So it just screams the
Nice.
meme, "That's a lot of nuts." Okay, it worked. That's the
I
the
did.
raid
I turned
sounds.
on the sound on the stream real quick so I could hear it.
What do
And
you think?
now it's muted again. I
Okay,
like it.
okay. I like it too. I think it's going to work well. So, just in case that happens, I'm prepared for it. I was not prepared at all for it, and so it gave me the bog standard one, and I was like, don't be standard, Waldo. Don't be plain. Don't be uh, unoriginal. Nobody likes that.
Frog's gay!
Hey, I like a boobas is now a follower. Thank you. Thanks for pressing the button. Every time you become a follower, you turn a frog gay. I hope you're proud of yourself, because I'm proud of you. Good job. Uh, the Let's get into the news. Anything super important that you wanted to bring up,
Yay
Thomas?
buttons.
No, I've just been sick, so
Okay, cool. I'm going
uh,
to
not following anything right now. But
okay. I'm gonna
I'm happy
turn
to argue about stuff.
the Lady Canooch off. The Lady Canooch has been turned off. She won't be reading your feelings until we turn her back on, so that we can look at the screen, see all the things on there. I didn't want to start with that one. I wanted to start with this one. Uh, and I didn't send them to you. I am a severe failure. I did not preload you with any of this stuff, so this is all brand new stuff for you. Um,
Fair enough. I missed you too, KVP.
uh, so what do we got? We've got Fani Willis. She is the person who is leading the RICO charge in Georgia. They have decided, the judge in the case for Fani Willis has decided that either she or that other guy needs to leave, and the other guy left. And then that's it. She's not removed from the case. She's not removed from her job. She's not uh, sued in any way or anything like that. And the case moves on. The RICO case in Georgia moves on. The
Huh.
Yeah, because I think he found there's people that are grumpy about it, but that's fine. Some of the conservatives were hoping for a total and complete disqualification. Said very cool Democrat Tim Pool. Shocked of the guy, yeah. Then we've got some. So the actual context, here we go. The relationship between Willis and Wade threatened to derail Trump's prosecution in the election interference case. Willis charged Trump and 18 others for efforts to allegedly overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in Georgia, which the former president has claimed was stolen despite lack of evidence. Her investigation focused on Trump's phone call to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, in which he allegedly asked him to find enough votes to tilt the election in his favor, and the alleged plot to submit a false slate of pro-Trump electors to the Electoral College. Trump has pled not guilty to all charges, maintaining his innocence.
This is the one that we talked about a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
With the prosecutor that was dating like the investigator or whatever.
Yeah. So Fani Willis has in the past had sexual relations with one of the people that was doing the investigation, and she hired him to do the investigation.
All right, no, hold on. Let me rephrase then. The prosecutor that formerly dated one of the investigators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
in the past, years ago, she and him had on again, off again fun times in hotel rooms.
Right. And this
then,
is this is the ruling for that. So,
Mhm.
Jesus, my voice just cracked. Yeah, we'll probably have a lot of those with my throat being the way it is. But
That's all right.
So the judge is basically like, hey, either you sound the case or he stays on the case, but not both of you.
Right. He has not. The judge has found nothing illegal that they've done.
Right.
There is no laws that either one have broken. The sexual relationship in the past is not illegal. The hiring of him is not illegal, but it might seem what's the word? Corrupt. So one of you has to leave, and he chose to leave.
Huh. Well, depending on what organization you've been in, or whatever, you may have heard the saying "perception is reality."
Mhm.
And I think it's a good move for the judge to be like, "Hey, I get it, but you guys need to like separate here on this case so that we don't have further problems later."
Yeah, and I think that's a reasonable conclusion to come to. The judge determined that either Willis or her office could remove themselves from the prosecution, or she could have Wade removed. And so Wade volunteered to remove because she was going to ask him anyway. So it's not like he fell on a boat. I mean, he did some work for the state and was paid for it, and that's it. But this finding, according to the judge, this finding is by no means an indication that the court condones this tremendous lapse in judgment or the unprofessional manner in the district attorney's testimony during the evidentiary hearing. Rather, it is the undersigned opinion that Georgia law does not permit the finding of an actual conflict for simply making bad choices, even repeatedly, and it is the trial duties court to confine itself to the relevant issues, the applicable law, properly brought before it. That's a lot of legal talk.
I think the judge made the right choice, and it definitely speaks to that, the fact that it's the right choice, that everybody on both sides is really unhappy about it.
Yeah, well, I don't know that the left is unhappy that it got delayed. This trial should have happened sooner, and they're mad at the Trump side for trying to delay the things and get somebody thrown out for what essentially the judge has decided might be a bad choice, but isn't a crime. So yeah, and then the people like I saw here with Tim Pool, who's very unhappy that she gets to continue because they wanted her thrown out entirely. And why did they want her thrown out entirely? So that it would slow this process down again and again and again until Donald Trump can win again and throw the court case out.
Popog is suggesting that this was a money laundering scheme.
Yeah,
almost.
that is what the people that are mad at her. That's what the Trump side is suggesting, that it is a money-making scheme. That Donald Trump is an innocent little lamb who's never made a mistake in his life, and she's politically chosen to go after him. And in doing that, going after him, she has hired her boyfriend and given tax money for him to investigate the poor little lamb Trump who's never done anything wrong. And that is the money-making scheme that they are alleging. But
And it's why they're not allowed to be on the kiss together now.
right.
Right.
So I think that's an exaggeration. I'm gonna blow everybody's minds here, but conservatives exaggerate sometimes. Democrats exaggerate sometimes
Oh,
too. They do.
okay.
I agree. Everybody exaggerates their side when they're in a discussion. I have told you a million times, Thomas, I never exaggerate. Uh,
Yes, the world will just end when Trump takes office.
I've never exaggerated once, and I have been saying it for a million years. I've never done any exaggeration.
Yes, yes, of course.
So the judge has said, and it's not like this is the and why that scheme, that exaggeration kind of falls flat on his face is this boyfriend of hers was the third person she asked to do the investigation. The first two turned her down because they wouldn't make enough money. She went to a lawyer and said, "Hey, can you do this work for the state of Georgia?" And that lawyer did a cost benefit analysis in his head and said, well, "No, that doesn't pay enough. I could make if I do that much work at my private firm, I would make more money. So no." And then the second person she asked said something similar. "No, why would I take a pay cut to do this work?" The third person she asked was the person she had a sexual relationship in the past, and he said yes. Uh, but even then, if he had done more work at his private firm, he would have made more money. Working for the government does often require you to take a pay cut, but you do it for the love of the game.
I'm gonna get conspiratorial for a second.
By all means.
So what if first two people were chosen, and I'm just spitballing here, were chosen as the first two people because she knew they would say no.
She knew they would say no. You guys, listen. She knew they would say no. That's why she asked them. They would turn her down because it wasn't enough money. This is the plan. She's playing 4D chess. She's playing 4D chess at that point. At which point,
No, if I'm a lawyer and I'm making $500K or $1 million a year, and some prosecutor comes up to me and is like, "Hey, I need you to do 6 months of work at a pay rate of $40K a month," or excuse me, of $40K for the whole 6 months. I'd be like, nah.
Right, and that's what happened to the first one. That's what happened to the second one. But then the third one took it on anyway, and he took a pay cut from he was also a professional lawyer working at a private firm. But Shinsinto says that only Trump can do 4D
How
chess.
much makes though?
He has suggested in court that he took a pay cut to do this work because he thought it was important. He thought it was valuable. He thought he was working for the state to do something valuable for the community in the world and the state of Georgia.
Oh, fair enough.
He has made that argument in some of his depositions that, hey, I took a pay cut to do this. This wasn't some lush, lavish, giant money-making scheme for me. I took a pay cut and I did it because I love the state of Georgia. And he's exaggerating, perhaps. But sometimes
he did it because he hates Donald Trump.
He did it because he hates Donald Trump. Entirely possible that he's like, oh yeah, that fucking guy, that guy's a criminal. I want to catch him. Maybe he's got some personal feelings for it. Maybe, I'm not sure. But there's no. Is she smarter than Trump's lawyers? Yes, but that's not a high bar to clear, says Popog. Entirely possible. Maybe she's playing a complicated chess game, and entirely conspiratorial. You could be right that she asked those two people knowing that they would say no, so that she could funnel tens of thousands of dollars to her boyfriend. I don't know.
So
her boyfriend
is a
professional, right?
If her boyfriend is already able to make more than that doing the case,
right, and that was her defense. That hey, my boyfriend can make way more than this, and he has suggested that he can make more than this as well. So it's not she's not financially advantageous. She's not getting some sort of financial advantage by doing this, and that's part of the reason.
couldn't he just do his job as normal and then, like funnel money to her legally?
Right. He's allowed to
Uh,
do a job and give her money. Like, he's allowed to do that.
right.
So that is the part of her defense. That's part of the preposterousness of what the Trump lawyers are suggesting. That
Yeah,
they could
I
make more
think I
money
like
somewhere
I
else.
like the judge's ruling. The judge,
One of you has to leave. And he let them have the choice. And she said, I'm far more important here. And he agreed. All he did was
yep.
a little bit of investigation. That investigation's over. He left. Will they throw all his investigation out? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Is this
No
poisoned
way.
evidence? I don't think they will. Um, and even if they do, they'll just have to have somebody else do that same investigation in the same way, in the same place. I mean, it wouldn't make any difference, right? If you're gathering legal papers, I mean, it doesn't really matter who gathers the legal papers. You check them for accuracy and then you move on. Uh, so I don't think that will make a big difference. So the Fani Willis thing, the drama is over. The drama llamas have been cleared. We are no more drama llamas for that until next week, and they find something else to be yell at her about. So the Georgia case will slightly move forward, very slowly, hopefully, before the election. That would be nice. I'd love to complain about the Dems for a minute. They
Oh, by all means.
they intentionally wanted this shit to happen in the year 24. This is political scheming on their part. This is 4D chess on their part. They didn't want this shit to happen in 21 and 22 and 23. No. They wanted it to happen in 24 because it's an election year. And they want to point, Joe Brandon wants to go on stage and say, look at this guy. He's on trial for 98 felonies right now. You know, that's what he wanted. But that isn't as strong a message in 22, which is why they waited so long. And now,
I think it's lost its power, honestly. Like, I mean, oh, you're on trial for whatever, and then it's just like, okay, but how much of that's bullshit?
mhm.
And I think that the voters have sort of picked up on that, right? Like,
I think this is a much better message if he was convicted in 2022.
well, right. I think that it's a much stronger thing if it was you are convicted of these things, you're a convicted felon,
Mhm.
versus you are accused of these 96 things.
Right.
Right. The accusals do not hold any weight with the voters anymore.
I think that's all that matters to them. Oh, well, I'm more okay.
Or
You're right.
accusations. Excuse
Accusations.
me.
I
That
think half
accusals
of
obviously
the
is a word.
I think half of the voters love the accusations. This is drama. This is high drama. This is uh, uh, WB on a this is a high school drama show on the WB where everybody's just fighting and arguing about each other. This is reality TV for them. It's high drama, and I think the accusations are the fun part for a lot of people. I'd rather have the convictions and be factually correct. Uh, so, anything? Let's see. Chat has to. Dems played with fire, running the trials up to the wire, and are probably going to get burned. Yeah, Popog's right. I think that's what they did. I think the Dems intentionally drew it out so that it would be right before the election, so that the people hear it and it's fresh in their minds. And Trump is doing exactly what we expected him to do: is appeal every single decision, argue every single point, accuse every single person that's ever brought a charge against him of being corrupt. Complain about the judge voted for Al Gore in the year 2000. He can't. If he voted for Al Gore in 2000, I mean, he clearly cannot be a judge for Donald Trump, right? Uh, he was appointed by Jimmy Carter. I mean, okay, come on. How can he be a judge again and rule fairly against Donald Trump? And they're playing those games
I
as
mean,
loudly as possible.
Well, when you brought up Jimmy Carter, I mean, can anything that guy did be considered legitimate. I don't know.
Yes, he won. He was the president. See, that's the attitude that I'm talking about. That's the attitude that his lawyers have. Well, Jimmy Carter's clearly a communist, and he
No,
appointed those
no.
judges. And I'm exaggerating what
I'm
you're talking
joking.
about. I know, but I'm exaggerating their point as well. Um,
Also, Jimmy Carter was fucking terrible.
he was fine. He was mediocre, just like always. We'll have to go into a history stream for that, but that's old politics, and I don't want to talk about old politics. Last stream, the Kick Chat, um, Tony was. We found out that the guy in Kick Chat named Tony. Hi Tony, hope you're watching. Hope you're having a good time. Is like 78 years old and loves that old guy. What was his name? He's not in politics anymore, and he's not relevant in any way, shape, or form.
Bernie Sanders?
No. Older.
Oh.
More Republican. Used to argue with Chris Matthews all the time.
The Cook brothers?
No. Shit. I'm doing a bad job. Waldo think he emotes. I can't think of what his name was, but Pat Buchanan. He was like, we need someone like Pat Buchanan again. And I was like, oh no.
Who the fuck is? Oh, I know the name, but
Pat Buchanan
what did
is
he
so
do?
old that you don't know who he is. That's what I'm saying.
No. I know the name.
He's a typical right-wing conservative from the 80s. Like, that's it. Like, there's nothing terrible about him. There's nothing special about him. There's nothing unbelievable about him. He's a typical 1980s Republican. Anyway, that's what he brought up, and I was like,
wait, is he the one that split the vote for the Republicans against Clinton?
No, maybe. I mean, he split some votes in the past, but not as a Green Party, but like as a Republican. I think he split some primaries and stuff like that. I don't know if he's run for president like a dozen times. But that's old politics. We're not talking old politics. We're not talking Pat Buchanan. We're not talking about Jimmy Carter. Keep it relevant. Methuselah, not relevant. We're talking future politics. Yeah, that's right, KBP. Talking about the here and the now. Ain't nobody got time for the 70s. Because we have a woke war going on. Governor Ron DeSantis' war on woke appears to be losing steam in Florida. So this is from NPR. Nightmare liberal bastion that they are at the NPR. Let's see. A court settlement this week blunted his Parental Rights in Education Act, a law that critics call the Don't Say Gay bill. But it's called the Parental Rights in Education Act. And earlier this month, a federal court blocked another key measure that DeSantis introduced in 2021 and called the Stop Woke Act. It marked the beginning of DeSantis' efforts to reshape how Floridians view and teach issues involving race, gender, and identity. Stop Woke Act.
I'm still on Pat Buchanan right now because I'm.
You haven't moved on.
Damn it.
He's old and he's not relevant. You don't need to learn about him. Why pay attention to the past, Thomas?
No, there was somebody that split the fucking vote back.
Ross Perot? In the 90s?
Oh, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Okay.
Pat Buchanan would have been very good friends with Ross Perot. He probably was.
It was Ross fucking Perot. Fuck that guy. Okay, sorry. We're moving on.
Welcome to today, March 15th. Governor Ron DeSantis' war on woke appears to be losing steam in Florida. Judges are shooting down parts of his Parental Rights Act. They're stopping parts of his Woke Act. His Stop Woke Act.
Parts?
The Stop Woke Act banned instruction in schools or mandatory training in workplaces that suggest a person is privileged or oppressed because of their race, sex, or national origin. Other bills and regulations soon followed, targeting DEI. DeSantis believes DEI programs that focus on such issues as race and sexual orientation are unconstitutional and discriminatory. He says they call it equity. Just understand when you hear equity used, that's just an ability for people to smuggle in their ideology. Equity is an ideology. I mean, I'm not going to argue with him. It's just not a dangerous one. It's an okay one.
Oh, I don't think it is.
Did you know that Elmo and Grover are smuggling ideology when they tell you to share your toys? Big Bird is smuggling his ideology in there when he tells you to be nice to people who are different than you. Uh, it's it's everything's ideology. Everything's political.
Well, I guess we have a fundamental difference here because I like equality,
Mm-hmm.
and you like equity.
They're only slightly different.
Well,
Equality and
if
equity,
you're
they're
all
both
equal under
working
the
towards the
law,
same place. Great.
right? Everyone works with the same rule set, and they're working under the same rule set, but maybe their product is different, and so they are differently compensated for their product. Whereas equity is you guys operate under the same rule set, and yes, your product is different. One guy's product sucks and the other one is good, but we're going to pay you the same anyway. That's equity.
No, equity is
Yeah.
trying to get everybody up to the same level. Equity says, hey, this person's been held down, and we would like to stop holding him down. This is what the BLM protesters were arguing about. We are treated more harshly under the law. That's what their message was. And equity is to find how and why they're being treated more harshly under the law and remove it, raising them up.
Well, those things have been removed.
They don't think that they have.
I don't care what they think. They have been
Okay, well,
removed.
their perception, their reality suggests that it hasn't.
Well, that sucks, bro.
That
It
sucks,
has
bro.
been
Okay,
removed.
well, great. Now they're going to continue to protest. Well, I mean, they don't think that the system is working for
Okay,
them. Okay, great. So they're going to
like,
continue to protest. They're going to continue
so
to push for these kinds of things. They're going to continue
fine.
to suggest that anti-DEI programs in Florida are harmful, which I think they
Yeah,
are as well.
it's okay for people to be wrong.
Okay, great.
Now, what did the judge actually rule on here?
A federal judge said by restricting people's speech, the law was positively dystopian. Last year, an appeal, so restricting people's speech, as in you can't suggest that DEI is a good thing. It like won't let you say that. The Stop Woke Act tells you what you cannot say. The Stop Woke Act and the Parental Rights Act tells people, employers, colleges, schools, what they can not say. Last year, an appeals court ruled it couldn't apply to colleges and universities. The same court recently ruled it couldn't be enforced against businesses either. The court resoundingly rejected the Stop Woke Act as applied to employers and said that it was a plain violation of the First Amendment. So,
I agree with the appeals court ruling. If the college is, if the college or university, blah, 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 if the college or university is private, the state has no grounds to tell them what they can and cannot teach.
I
Like
would
straight up.
suggest we should do the same thing for public colleges.
Well, no. So public stuff, public colleges, public education, the grade school system is something that the state has authority over.
Right, and they shouldn't tell them what to do. They shouldn't tell them what to teach. They should leave that to the experts. Have a separation of those powers.
Even if they hired experts, it would still be the state's authority that.
No, it's the state that's paying for them, and I think that's fine.
Okay, if you pay for the schools, you have authority over the schools.
I want to separate those things.
No.
Follow me. That we want an educated population, yes. Do we want the government telling that population what is true and not? No. I don't think you would even say yes to that second one. Do you want the government telling you what's true and not true?
That goes too deep into like should we even have public education? And I think yes.
Yes, we should have public education. Okay, great.
And having the public education, however, does mean that the government is in charge of that education.
No, I want them to pay for that education. I don't want them to be in charge of it. And if you don't have this gap, if you don't have this air gap between the government funding and what's being taught, what you'll get is what's being taught will change depending on who's in charge of the government. You don't want a public school teaching certain things about gender. And I don't want them teaching certain things about the Holocaust not being true. You know, like you don't want that either. You don't
I
want
don't think
that
they
either.
teach
I know,
that.
but they could, couldn't they? If the government's in charge
Okay.
and the government tells you
Well, they
what's
certainly
right,
could.
you could. So
And it is the taxpayers' dollars that are going towards this education, and the people that the taxpayers elect are deciding what that education is going to be. And yes, if my tax dollars are going towards the public school system, I also think, because the government is supposed to represent me, I also think that when I'm making my votes, my views on what my tax dollars should be spent on, if we're spending it on education, what education are we spending it on? Yes, I do think that there should be a say in what it is that is being taught. And Holocaust denial is extremely unpopular.
I agree.
So it would never be um, implemented in public schools.
But if it were
Whereas,
popular, okay, I'm going to tell you that it's not true. Are you okay with popular, untrue things being taught in public schools? It's popular, it's untrue, and it got voted for. So we're going to teach it. That sounds like
I
indoctrination. That sounds like
think, no, I think that the overwhelming majority of education, or rather of opinion, the overwhelming majority of opinion is going to follow the truth anyway.
you're getting
I'm
awfully
not
close
okay.
to my favorite
Oh,
saying.
well, hold on. So I'm not okay with lies being told,
Okay.
right? I'm not okay with public schools saying, no, the Holocaust didn't happen.
Okay.
Um, and me not being okay with it just means that I need to vote for people that will not implement that kind of curriculum
Mhm.
in the schools.
And I think that's a good idea. The implementation, I think, should have a little bit of a gap in between
Well, hold
the
on.
direct government, which I think
I don't
Ron
think so.
DeSantis is doing here.
I
Ron DeSantis
I
is
don't.
telling those schools and those businesses what they can and cannot do.
The
And I
state of
don't like
Florida
that.
pays for the public schools.
There should be a gap. You shouldn't be able
The
to
state of Florida
specifically do
makes the
that.
rules.
Well, then someday they'll push something in a California school that you won't like, and they won't be able to do a damn thing about it because they voted for it, and that leads to different tiers of education. The Florida education, the Florida uh, what's the word degrees will be less valuable than the other ones because they will have an entirely different set of facts, rules, logic, and requirements to get to graduate.
I mean, okay, that's fine.
That's not fine. That's the people of Florida being poorly served. That is the people of Florida
That
becoming
people of
second-class
Florida making
citizens.
their own choices.
Yeah, but I don't want the dumb people of Florida to make decisions that hurt themselves. They hurt themselves in their confusion, is what's happening. They've been confused, and they've hurt themselves in their confusion. I would like that to stop. I would not want that to happen.
Bog makes an interesting argument. Let's say that the teachers, we have that separation of powers that you are suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's an air gap between the legislature or the government and the school system.
Okay, so we're going the exact opposite. We're in California. The people have
and
voted.
it becomes very popular among teachers that Holocaust denial is actually accurate.
Okay.
Um, should the state have no way to remove them? Is the separation of powers there? Um, should there be no way for the state to be like, no, 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 no. You guys are out of line. You can't teach this. You cannot teach Holocaust denial.
I don't want the government to do that. I want the teaching experts to do it.
Well, what if the teaching experts are all freaking neo-Nazis?
Teaching experts don't lean that way. What happens when you get educated? What happens when you go to college? What happens when you understand how to actually learn and read and understand things? You move left. That's what all the fucking college professors, everybody's screaming, hey, my kid went to college and they came back a raging liberal.
No.
It's because they went and learned.
No.
Nazism
No.
is not a learned position. The people pushing fascism
Different
aren't geniuses.
different topic.
They're not brilliant. They're not well educated. They're not well read. They're not college professors. I can't think of a single college
hold on.
professor
This
who
is a-
denies the Holocaust.
This is a what if.
I know.
Okay. What if that happened and you're saying no, the government shouldn't be able to step in and be like, no, 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 we're not doing this.
I have more faith in the educators than I do the government. That's what I'm saying. I have more faith that the educators will get the right answer rather than the ideological government. I think government is more ideological than educators. Yes. And so when that government ideology swings or says things that are crazy, they're doing that to get elected. And the educators don't have to be elected. They don't have to appeal to the voting base of Ted Cruz to get their jobs. You know?
I
You know what
think
I'm
that
saying?
this. I think no.
Ted Cruz has to appeal to a lot of crazy people to get elected, yes?
Anybody that has to get elected has to appeal to a lot of crazy people.
Great. And in doing so, they will say things that are crazy. Donald Trump talks a lot of shit. And he doesn't do that because it's fun. Well, it is fun. But he does that to rile his base up. You have suggested to me in the past that he says things that aren't true or that he cannot do. Right?
Yeah.
And
every presidential candidate does
great.
that.
And they're doing that to get elected. Some of the people who hear what Donald Trump has to say, some of the people who hear what Ted Cruz has to say, some of the people who hear what Ron DeSantis have to say, believe it. They think that he's right. They think he is correct, and they want him to carry that fucking issue out to its conclusion, to the conclusion that they want. And the educators don't do that. They would be less likely to do so.
I'm lost. I have no idea what this argument was.
Okay. I've gone in a weird way. Donald Trump talks a lot of shit to get elected. Yes.
Okay.
The
Sure.
educators don't have to talk a lot of shit to get elected, to get their job. They have to be educators. They have to go to college. They have to learn the things, and they have to present those things in the right way to the people, to the college students. They don't have to be political to get their job, which means that the product that they put out will be less political.
Unless it's not.
It is less political.
Well, no, I mean, kind of is though.
Well, everything's political.
I'll tell you this: the reason that academia is full of leftists is not because they're more learned than the people on the right.
Okay.
The reason is because the people on the right are all out there doing the job that they learned to do. And those that can't do, teach.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you completely and say that the more you learn, the further left you go. The people on the right are out there doing that thing because they disagree with reality.
They disagree with reality, therefore they participate in it?
Therefore,
and
they
out
abandon
there.
learning more about it. If you disagree with reality, you'll quit paying attention to it. There are flat earthers who disagree with reality, and they have stopped paying attention to it. They live in their own little bubble.
I don't think so. Also, it is worth noting
Mhm.
that the more practical, the STEM fields lean more towards the right than the left
STEM
in
lords
general.
and code bros do exist, and then they, I think Elon Musk is an excellent example of what you're talking about. He is he does lean right, and I think he only leans right because they pay attention to him and they give him good stuff. But he's very much hurting because he abandoned the uh, moderating and stuff like that was happening on Twitter, and he's slowly bringing it all back. He was being a STEM lord. He fired everyone who didn't write code. That's like the first thing he did when he took over Twitter. So he's slightly right wing. He's a tech bro, and he goes into Twitter. He buys Twitter, and he starts firing the DEI people. He starts firing the compliance people. He starts firing the moderating team. He starts firing everybody who doesn't write code. And that was one of the first things he did when he was like, he demanded meetings with hundreds of people and said, "Bring your code, and if you don't have any, you're out." Uh, and we see how
That's
great
what's
Twitter is
reported.
now.
That's what was reported, but I don't actually even believe that.
Well, I mean, that's what the emails he sent out to people. What code do you write? None. Okay. What is your job? Oh, you're a liaison between something. You're out. You're done. You're gone. He tossed everybody who wasn't a coder, and they've got a shithole of a site right now.
What's a shithole
Their
about it? I don't use it.
its value has dropped far below what he paid for it.
Well, but is it still functional?
Barely. It has outages far more than it ever had before.
Really?
Yeah, it's got more outages. It's got more problems. It's got more right-wing followers, as everybody would suggest, and that, according to him, is fairness. But all the left has abandoned it, and well, they haven't abandoned it. There's still a lot of people on there, but there is everybody complaining about it. You can't trust what's written there anymore. The blue check mark is a stain on a person's.
Aren't there community notes there now?
Uh, maybe.
Yeah, like so someone says something that's fucking false. Don't they don't they have community notes that like contradict it or
Yeah, and if somebody
provide
reads it,
context?
that's nice. Uh, I'm not saying we should ban people from saying false things. I don't think that's even a good idea. Uh, but
Well, we
STEM
definitely
isn't
should
the answer.
never we definitely should never ban people for saying false things.
I agree.
Because what is false may or may not be actually false.
Mhm.
Uh, sort of like Galileo when he said, "Hey, it's the Earth revolves around the sun,
Mhm.
not the other way around," and he got banned
Yeah, I think that was a
in
bad
the old
thing.
days.
Yeah,
That's not good.
that was not a good thing. But was it? But I would suggest that is a case of people choosing which evidence to follow. They chose the evidence of the Bible rather than the evidence that he was bringing. So we have to be careful where we're getting our evidence, and I think that's a good point that you're making.
Yeah.
That
Also,
even
I think
people who are correct can get in trouble.
that well, right, yeah. I mean, I don't think that we should be just deciding what is the truth, but imagine the context notes for the Church versus Galileo on Twitter would be fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Um,
the comment section under that would be very very wild. It would be filled with a
uh,
lot of people.
um, also, I don't see the drop off that you see with Twitter. I think Twitter, or I guess it's called X now, because Elon Musk loves that letter for whatever reason.
Dumb thing to do, but okay.
Um,
Bad business
I
plan.
think
I'm just saying that's
that
a bad fucking business plan.
I don't see the drop off with Twitter. I still see it being used all the time It's a lot of articles I read have like people's Twitter comments fucking linked to it. I think it's doing fine.
They're severely short on advertising dollars. They're trying stunts to get people to tweet more. Their advertisers have dropped right out the bottom because the people don't want those advertisers, those companies do not want to be associated with the people that are being rewarded and being amplified by Twitter.
Well, did we see did we watch that clip of Elon on stream? I forget.
Where he said, fuck themselves, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
That's not a good business plan.
that's fine, but he has the money to do it, and
Well,
I
not for long.
think he's right.
Go
What
fuck
do you mean
yourself?
not for long?
Not for
Dude's
long,
like the
he's
second
not.
richest. Dude's like the second richest man on the planet.
Until all the advertisers abandon him. And then he won't be the richest guy on the planet. Until being associated with him drops your stock. Then he won't be the richest guy on the planet. If you're bad for fucking business, you're not going to be the richest man on the planet.
He is so rich, it doesn't even matter at this point. He can do whatever he wants.
He's
And
not liquid rich. He's rich in stocks. And if those stocks take a tumble because of the things that he says,
they first of all, his stocks take a tumble is a little inaccurate because like they're saying the valuation of X is lower now than when he bought it, except for the fact that it's not publicly traded. So there is no market capitalization to actually base that assumption off of.
Because he owns the largest percent or something like that?
Because it's private, it's not publicly traded.
It's not public.
He can just decide what it's worth, and when he sells it, whether or not people are actually willing to buy it or not.
So there are other investors, and
like,
are they unhappy with him?
So I don't know, but the point is, like publicly traded companies, yes, we can see exactly how much they're worth. We can see exactly how much AMD and Nvidia and Exxon and Chevron are worth by looking up their market capitalization, because their market capitalization is how much the company is actually worth right now. We can't do that with privately traded companies, or not with privately traded, with private companies. Private companies don't publicly list how much their equity is going for, right? So X having been taken private, we don't actually know how much it's worth.
Okay.
The same goes for SpaceX. SpaceX is not publicly traded. We have no idea how much it's actually worth. We do know that Tesla has an insane valuation.
And if he says something stupid, or takes the company very publicly, because he is a very, very public person. I think every thought he ever has is fucking posted online. And that causes that stock to drop.
That's fine.
Isn't that that's how the system works? Yes, I agree. I think that's fine, but I think he's an idiot. I think he's dumb for doing these things this way, or makes a really ugly truck. KBP says.
Yes, and look, Tesla stock has only continued to climb, even though like it is, in my opinion, and has been for like the last 10 years, horrendously overvalued. I think Tesla stock is absurdly priced.
Okay.
And
it's going to come back to reality? Is that invisible hand not going to snap it back into reality?
maybe at some point, people are speculating that it will be worth a lot more than it is, and they're buying on that future value rather than the current situation. Like,
so they're
there were
buying what
several
it could
years.
Be. Okay.
Right. Well, the same thing with Nvidia, right? Like Nvidia is trading at unbelievable valuations right now.
Okay.
And AMD, and everyone's buying it based on the fact that they think that AI is going to make it so that Nvidia is basically infinitely valuable. But for Tesla, it's like, hold on a second. You're still selling fewer cars than Ford.
Right.
And Ford is more profitable than you.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a valuation 50 times that, a market capitalization 50 times that of Ford. What the fuck? Like,
And that's based on feelings. Those investors are valuating it higher because they feel like this is
that's
the
fine.
future. And this is
And
why I say that
and
the economy isn't
that's
real. This is why I
that's
keep
their right to do
making
that.
that smarmy, smart
It's
ass
a risk
thing.
they're taking to invest in it.
Popog and
Um,
Pokerface are going to start a lawn mowing business that's worth $100 billion. Uh, they're having fun. They're coming up with real good plans here. You guys can be a sponsor for the stream. It'll be good. I am going to slightly change topics, but not really. On to the next thing. The House voted to ban TikTok, and what could come next? Since we're talking about the social medias.
Hold on, I gotta
Yeah,
respond to this
feel
poker face
free
guy.
to finish this
I
off,
have
and let's.
purchased puts on Tesla in the past and made money on it, and I'm happy with that. Um, Short selling a meme stock is a stupid idea. Uh, GameStop was never worth $400 a fucking share, but it got there when it happened, and Tesla is in the same basket for me. I never touch Tesla nowadays. Um, but yeah.
So do you think that Tesla is very similar to GameStop? That it has a lot of fans, it has a lot of people who appreciate it, and they're valuing it way too high, and it's all going to fall. It's never been worth that much, and it's going to fall down someday. Is that what you're suggesting for
I
Tesla?
think
It's just a
I
longer
think that
term.
yeah, I think that Tesla is a meme stock.
Okay, Tesla's a meme stock. It's
I
just
do
on
think
a
it's
longer timeline.
overpriced. It's substantially overpriced. It should be valued at or less than companies like Ford.
I agree with you there.
But it's not. It's worth like 10 times those companies, which is insane. And it is absolutely overpriced, and people are buying on it's a speculation buy
Hmm.
rather than a valuation buy,
Hmm.
right? Um, Shorting Tesla is a stupid idea because the speculators will continue to speculate.
Diamond
And
hands, hodl coin. They'll never let go.
and what a stupid fucking idea to short sell a meme stock. I mean, Jesus. But I have made money betting against Tesla before. Thank you. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
We're transitioning over to the next thing. The House voted to ban TikTok, and what could come next? Uh, so they've voted to ban it or force them to sell to an American company. The House passed a bill on Wednesday that would require ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, to sell the app or face a ban in the U.S. devices. The legislation's fate is unclear in the Senate. So, what do we think about this?
Oh, you know what I'm going to say already.
You hate TikTok just because of the structure of it, right?
Yep.
Short videos ruin the human brain, and we're not. Well, does that mean you get to ban the thing? Cigarettes are bad for the human brain too, but we allow those.
Well, so is heroin, and we banned that.
Right.
So
It's just depending on what is the most harmful. Is this more harmful than alcohol and cigarettes?
mm, alcohol, probably not. Alcohol is pretty harmful.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. I think that short form content is terrible for people in general, and it might even have uh, social consequences that extend far beyond the social consequences of people that do drugs or drink.
Okay. So
Um,
societally, you're against the entire idea of this short form content. The TikTok user experience, according to the Gallagher, according to this guy, Mike Gallagher, representative from Wisconsin, said the TikTok user experience can continue and improve so long as ByteDance doesn't own the company. Are you okay with the government having that power? I'm in the middle on this one, honestly. I don't know which way I want to go. I don't like Chinese spyware, obviously, but should the government have the power to say you can't own that, you need to sell
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's a product that was made. It is owned by a foreign government,
Mhm.
and they're saying the foreign government cannot uh, own this particular product because it could result in spying,
Mhm.
which is a national security issue.
Okay.
I'm fine with the government making a bill about national security.
Okay.
Uh,
Because spying on Americans is a national security issue, and
oh,
that's
right,
entirely
and
their
this is not
business.
the first time that this problem has happened either.
Mhm.
If you recall, back 8 years ago, six to 8 years, Pokemon Go came out,
Mhm.
also run by a Chinese company, and freaking they had to start banning the use of that app on military facilities,
Because it was
um,
tracking where
because
people were.
it was tracking where people were, and also it used your camera when you wanted to catch a Pokemon. It was like an alternate reality thing, um, where you used your camera to find the Pokemon, and fucking um, it was capturing photo or video images of places that were not supposed to be photographed or videoed.
Right. And because it's such a cool, fun thing that gets you psychologically addicted to it, you would skip over the normal security regulations, or you wouldn't think about them. Yes, I can see how these apps are dangerous, and I'm kind of okay with this. Uh, uh, Pokerface in chat is suggesting that it's just Zuckerberg's lobbying to get more money for himself, and I don't think that he. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's only half right. Is he lobbying to have competitors shut down? Well, sure. Is he intentionally, willingly telling us that? Well, yeah, I mean that's just lobbying. Uh, is he intentionally shutting it down? No. Is he bribing politicians? I don't think so. We'd have to see some evidence of that. Uh, I would benefit from TikTok going away. There'd be more people watching YouTube Shorts, and I publish YouTube Shorts. Am I also lobbying for this thing to happen? No. Am I benefiting from it? Maybe. Uh, if I benefit if TikTok goes away, I've put shorts up on there before as a content creator, and half of them get dropped down. Half of them get uh, removed from their site because I'm far too spicy. Uh, but I'm not too spicy for YouTube, it seems. So I've stopped posting things on TikTok. If TikTok goes away, I will have potentially more people going to YouTube to watch those short form content. I benefit from it. Am I making money from xenophobia? I don't think so.
Wait, where did that come from?
Uh,
What?
the poker face. Sorry, that was from chat. Zuckerberg is just trying to make money off xenophobia. He's suggesting that Zuckerberg is inventing this fear and hate of Chinese people and the Chinese government so that he can get more people on Facebook.
Oh, well,
That's the
I'll put it
conspiracy
this way.
theory.
I don't think that
That's conspiratorial.
I don't blame any content creator for doing what makes money.
Hmm.
That is their prerogative, right? So like, I don't think you are a contributor to the problem when you make a short on your um, YouTube channel.
Hmm.
But I do think that the short form content is detrimental to people's attention spans and development. Uh, the dopamine hit that it gives is out of line with what achievement is actually being accomplished. And I just think it's not good for people. And if it was up to me specifically, and I was God King Emperor of America or the world, I would probably just ban any short form content videos under like, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Ironically, I'm going to turn this into a short. Uh, I'm gonna
Fair enough.
edit that thing that you just had and put it into a 15-second clip, and then it'll get all the views and it'll get all the
Yeah, but I'm right,
followers.
so it's fine.
Well, okay. Well, if you're right, it's okay to put out 15-second clips. I think they're just headlines. Honestly, I think they're very similar to headlines. We've all heard that. Been on the receiving end of reading a headline and thinking that we know everything about it. I do it all the time. I try not to, but I recognize when it happens that the sensational headline comes out and you're like, well, that's a thing that happened. But if you actually read 3 or 4 paragraphs down, it's not quite what the headline said. I think TikTok is very similar, is that it is just a headline. It's only a few seconds. You're just getting the headline. You're not getting any in deep. Generally, what I do with my shorts is that I put you and I talking about things that are either ridiculous or attention grabbing so that they will see it, then come in for the long form discussion that we have. So yeah, that's why I'm not specifically super against it. TikTok just picked the wrong color CEO. We wouldn't be talking about it if he was the right color. That's a nice conspiracy theory you got there, Poker Face. All right. Singapore's the wrong color. Okay. Chat's having fun today. That's good. I like it when chat has fun. What are we doing? We're going to close that one. Anything specific to say about TikTok before we go? I think you laid it all out pretty well.
Yeah, I'm looking for a video, but I can't find it, so
Okay. All right.
unfortunately.
Well, would you come on over here and then you come over here? All right. What do we got? We've got the next story up. Here is I'm gonna put on my southern voice. We're losing our kids to a satanic cult. Tommy Tuberville warns during a Utah campaign stop. The Alabama Republican has endorsed U.S. Senate candidate Trent Staggs to the race to replace Mitt Romney. Okay, I haven't read this yet. I don't know what satanic cults we're
Oh
talking
man,
about
we're going
today.
in blind, boys.
Okay, Thomas, which satanic cult is he talking about? Chat, which satanic cult is Tommy Tuberville upset with? I haven't read it. I don't know. What's the satanic
satanic
cult?
one.
Well, no, it's going to be. I think it's going to be trans people, honestly. Um, what is the satanic cult? Do you think it's going to be that he's going to complain about?
Hold on. You got to go back to the.
Well, no, because then you'll
site.
see it. No. You'll see it.
Damn it!
Shinseto wants to join the cult. Which satanic cult is this? Is this going to be him complaining about Dungeons and Dragons? He's in Utah. He might be complaining about Mormons. What are we pushing here? And he's pushing for somebody else to replace Mitt Romney. So this could be a religious argument here. This could be Tommy Tuberville saying that the Mormons are a satanic cult and we need to elect a good, right, proper Christian. Or it could be a trans thing, or it could be a DEI thing, or it could be a Dungeons and Dragons thing. So that seems outside and unlikely. What do we think the satanic cult is this time? Organic food? Popog is saying organic food.
It could be as broad as just the entire left at this point. Let's find out.
KBP thinks he's talking about K-pop. So yeah, all good guesses. It could be the entirety of the left, all the Democrats. Anybody left of Sean Hannity is a satanic cabal. Shinseto, there could be a new sexy cult we could all get in on. Shinsento's looking at this from the positive side. This could be a new, fun, sexy satanic cult that you haven't heard about yet, but we're about to find out. So let's find out what it is. Alabama Republican has a stark warning for approximately 100 Utah GOP delegates who crowded into the thing. All right, okay. I've traveled all over the country, all 50 states. I've been to good places and bad places. The one thing I saw, we are losing our kids to a satanic cult. Okay, what kind of cult? Tell me more. Tell me more, please. And then we talk about him being a former football coach. Who cares? We've lost our morals. We've lost our moral values across the country. We've got to get back to the Constitution, and we have to get back to the Bible. We've got to get God back in our country. There's not one Democrat that can tell you they stand up for God. Oh, Thomas, you're starting to win here. Just, just all Democrats won't stand up for God. So I think you might be right. Republican delegates ate it up as they careened from anti-transition statements to discussions of immigration and the chaos of the border. Prediction of left-wing mobs. Ooh, left-wing mobs are set to wreak
I
chaos
fucking
across the
called
country
it.
this summer. Okay.
Listen up. I don't know
Tuberville.
why I'm talking to you, you fucking Satanist bitch.
I am Satanist. It's true. Tuberville went so far as to claim the federal government has been corrupted and to go after conservatives instead of criminals. Boss, Tuberville, Tommy, listen. The conservatives are criminals. All right.
Oh,
That's
get
just
out of
my
here.
opinion. I don't know. Donald Trump says he's a conservative. And okay, so here he goes. We've lost our Department of Justice. Did he misplace it? Does he not know where it is? We've lost our Department of Justice. In most of the country, we don't have a criminal justice system anymore. It's gone. It's just simply ceased to exist. Nobody goes to jail unless you're an innocent person that really loves this country, and then they'll put you in jail. This is what I'm talking about when I suggest that conservatives and Republicans don't connect to reality. Thomas, this is what I'm talking about. This is what the senator is saying to his constituents, and they love it. We don't have a criminal justice system anymore. Nobody goes to jail unless you're an innocent person that really loves the country, and then they'll put you in jail. Is that what's happening in prisons right now? Is that who's in jail right now? All the people who love the country?
Oh no, criminals are in there.
Okay.
Nobody go. So he's bringing up sort of what I've been talking about a couple of weeks ago uh, about how we don't seem to have standards, right? Like people just do whatever. The cops won't pick up or prosecute these people. I definitely agree that standards are down the drain, and that I think that's what he's talking about.
Okay. We have never overcome a cult like we're dealing with right now. You won this competition. It wasn't about any of those other wacky things we thought. It was just everybody to the left of Sean Hannity.
Everybody on the fucking left.
Everybody to the left of Sean Hannity is a Satanist and needs to be removed.
I fucking called it, baby.
You did good there. Yeah, you got that one.
By the way,
Tupperware.
I had no idea about this story.
Neither did
until
I.
it showed up on the stream screen.
He hadn't seen it. I hadn't read it. I didn't know what it was. I just said, okay, well, we got to click on the Satanist headline, right? Because I wanted to know what it was. I was expecting trans or DEI, but it includes all of those things. It's all the stuff. So that was a fun little jaunt. Do you want to talk about standards, or you want to put something together for next week?
You've heard me talk about standards already.
Yeah, but I don't grasp what you're talking about.
I'm trying to go at least another stream without being accused of talking about the same thing.
Okay.
Every stream.
Okay.
Even though this specifically brought it up.
Yeah, I know this brought it up, and I'm interested in what you're thinking. So feel free to write something up and bring something next week or the week after. It doesn't matter to me. Whenever you're available. Put your thoughts in order. Bring them to me so that we can think about them. They've basically taken God out of everything that we're doing. I don't know any other way to express it other than it's some kind of cult that they're trying to push on our kids and all Americans. We've got to get back to our moral values. If we can't get back to that and let the Democrats continue to push this cult on us and take God away from our country, we're going to have huge problems. This is...
Yeah, this part I don't agree with.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've never known you to be overly religious, or religious at all, really. I can appreciate the people who are. I'm okay with you being so. Not you specifically, but the people of the country. And they think that that's a moral way to live, and that's fine. But when a politician is talking like that, it makes me nervous.
I mean, lots of things can make us nervous.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I think he's wrong. Um, he's definitely playing to his constituency there.
Yeah, and I, he's doing it to make them feel a certain way, which is why I keep saying that's why I keep bringing up feelings every single time because he's
No,
making them feel a certain way. Is he
he,
not attempting to make them
you're-
feel?
no, he's saying it because they already feel that way, and he's just playing to their emotions so that he can get elected again.
Right, and so he's playing to their emotions. Okay, yeah, I mean
So,
that's a feelings-based thing, isn't it? They're
well, hold on.
going to support him because of the feelings that they have and that he shares.
Well, I'm making a distinction here.
Okay.
It's not that he says these things in order to make the people feel a certain way. It's the opposite way around. It's the people already feel a certain way about this, and he is giving voice to those things, which is what is
Rep-
going to get him elected.
Representation is what I think you're describing there, and I think that's okay. I hope that it does work that way.
Representation versus manipulation, I guess.
Right,
Is what,
and I like representation, but I don't like manipulation. And
right.
it is a
Well,
fine,
hold
it's a
on.
difficult
Well,
line.
you were
I
suggesting
was
that
suggesting
this
that.
is manipulation.
Right, I'm suggesting
And
he is
so
manipulative.
that's why I'm
Yes.
pushing back right now, is what he's doing is representing, not manipulating.
Okay. I I kind of agree with what you're saying there. He is representing, not manipulating. But what I would say is that the people who feel that way have been manipulated since the moment they were born, and they feel religiously because it was manipulated onto them. I think most religious situations are manipulative. I think that they push things down people's throats, and then once it's there, they feel a certain way. But that's me being a uh, angsty atheist, militant atheist, yeah. And not everybody feels that way.
I mean, I don't think that the environment that you get into could just be called manipulative. Like,
Yeah, emo wall is in chat because it
we,
happens so often. Yeah.
as a society, like, we value democracy, right?
Okay.
We're all born into democracy.
Okay.
And we are taught in schools the merits of democracy.
Cool.
Is that manipulative?
If you think that if you're anti-democracy, you could suggest that. I don't want to be anti-democracy. I think it's a good idea to listen to people
Well,
and
how do
hear
you know
what they
you
have to
weren't
say.
just manipulated that way?
I don't,
It's,
which is why I
I'm
think that I can, which is why we need to have an academic discussion on what is the manipulation, what isn't. I have a feeling that the people who heard Tommy Tuberville say those things aren't interested in academic discussions. From the multitudes of religious people that I have met and known my entire life, they're not generally interested in academic discussions of what is true and what isn't. That is usually one of my biggest complaints about them, is that they don't care about the facts. They have a handful of religious feelings, and that is factual to them. Popeye asks if you were manipulated into thinking manipulation exists. Maybe there is no such thing as manipulation. It can go on infinitely, and I think that it is a difficult topic to discuss and argue about. But this isn't an atheist podcast, damn it. This isn't an atheist stream. This is a politics stream, and everything is political. Anything else, Thomas, to say on our manipulation or lack thereof?
nope.
Okay, cool. I think you laid it out pretty well. Um, so Popog and I have been talking about this in the Discord. If you're watching, if you're paying attention, and you want to also go there, you can go to the Discord. Right there, there's a link. Well, that's not a link. Is that a link? That's a link. You can go there and talk about it as well. You can go there and you can click on those things, and it'll take you to the Discord. And from the Discord, you can post stories like this one, where we look at the things, we talk about them, and we have all the feelings. So,
By the way, I hate you.
um,
Because ever since you said the words tell me more, the song from Grease has been playing in my head. And I can't get it out.
Shoot. So the way to get songs out of your head is to get a different one in there. So I'll just make a few suggestions. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was.
There it is. All
there
right,
it
stop.
is.
Nope. Tell me more is back.
Tell
Hold
me
on.
more is back. Okay. The Jeopardy theme. Malcidian's making good situations. This is the song that never ends. That's the one that's stuck in my head most of the time.
That's not help. That's not helping.
That might
makes
be
it
worse. That might be worse, KBP. You might have made this all worse. Yeah, if
I'll
I
just
need
deal
to,
with fucking tell me more. Fuck.
that's fine.
Yeah. Tell me more.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. I can't sing it, or else we'll get copyright struck. KBP makes things worse. That's what he does. That's why he's here. Shinsento's got a lovely bunch of coconuts for you.
The Lion King version.
Yeah. Well, let's think about trans people and states' rights. How about that?
Okay, let's do that.
Okay. So, I think I talked last week about a story where so set the scene. Texas has passed state laws suggesting that certain trans-affirming care on youth and abortions aren't allowed. Two separate issues, I know, but those are the kinds of things that they're pushing. The state of Maine has a different state law. People who want those things have been going and suggesting that they would go to the state of Maine to get them. Texas wants to make that not legal. That's the dumbed down version. And they call it transgender trafficking. It's insane. Maine transgender activists launch offensive against conservative states with unprecedented legal scheme. Now, I hate this story, not the story, but the way this was written is, I think, filled with propaganda. But Popog brought it up and put it into the chat, so we'll look at it. Maine lawmakers will consider Tuesday a proposal to drastically expand legal protections for medical professionals and other individuals who conspire to mutilate children in the name of so-called gender-affirming medical care. So, bam.
Wait, can you put the article on the screen?
God, no. Why would I do that? I'm a bad streamer, remember? I'm terrible at this. Maine lawmakers will consider Tuesday to drastically expand legal protections for medical professionals and other individuals who conspire to mutilate children in the name of so-called gender-affirming medical care. So, Maine is suggesting that if someone comes to the state of Maine to get that type of health care, that the state of Texas can't sue the Maine doctor, because Texas wants to sue the Maine doctor.
What website is this?
I don't fucking know. It was, thank Popog. He gave it to me. It's awful, right? Right. Even right off the bat, it's filled with propaganda, right? Like, the unprecedented proposal, which would encompass providers and of late-term abortions, will also break new legal ground in attempting to impose Maine-based policy preferences on jurisdictions where laws regarding same-sex services for minors and abortions are different. Although the scientific consensus around surgical and drug-based interventions for individuals suffering gender dysphoria has shifted in recent years.
Took a class in college once that specifically had you like go find articles and point out like the rhetoric and the bias that was present in the article, and fuck, this would be such an easy target.
It's
Here, I need to
so biased.
save
Yeah.
this.
Okay. I'm glad you agree because I read it and I was like, God, this is so hard bias. Yeah, you're right. But the important bit we're getting at, Popog is here in chat, and he's specifically interested in the Maine doctors can countersue to get any money lost in Texas back. So this is a states' rights bashing into another state's rights. Texas would like to sue a doctor who lives in Maine who gives late-term abortions or trans care to a Texas resident in Maine. And Maine then passed, or is suggesting, I don't think this was passed yet, they're suggesting protections from Texas lawsuits for Maine doctors who give this care. So let's take it step one. I don't think Texas should be allowed to prevent these things, but they have, under states' rights, suggested that you can't get these things done here. Thomas, do you accept the idea that this can't be done in Texas, so that people would go somewhere else to get it done?
I accept that, yes.
Okay, great. Does the state of Texas have any sort of legal ways to block them? Like saying you can't use the road or calling it trafficking. They are using the word trafficking. They're calling it trans trafficking.
No.
I would agree with you. Texas shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. The way that I think of states' rights is, let's say that you live in Switzerland, okay? And Switzerland has laws about certain things. Can a Swiss citizen with a passport head over to Germany, where that thing is legal, and do that thing, right? In my opinion, the answer is yes. You are not in Switzerland, where it's illegal. You are in Germany, where it's legal. So if you want to do something that's not legal in Switzerland, you go to the place where it is legal and you do it.
Okay.
Right? Same thing for Texas versus Maine. If you're in Texas, if I think of Texas the same way as I think of Switzerland, and Texas is making transgender surgery illegal, well, if you drive over to Maine and you get the surgery there, you've not broken Texas law.
Okay.
And Texas law,
I agree with you so far. Yeah.
Switzerland cannot pass a law that says you can't go to Germany and do the thing that's not illegal there.
Yeah,
right.
Texas has pushed a few of those things. I think the Texas laws that I read about have been shot down because they say that the roads are a public use, and if you're using the public road to go to Maine, to drive to Maine, then you're using public infrastructure, and then we're allowed to stop that. And I'm like, wow, how the hell do you enforce that? That creates a very large government, right? So
I think Texas is just wrong.
I think they're wrong on this. So do they have? So they don't. You don't think they have the right to sue the Maine-based doctor?
No.
I agree.
No,
they shouldn't have the right to sue the Maine-based doctor. But if they do, does Maine have the? I mean, if they sue them, the state of Maine has the right to put protections in place, right, of their citizens and their doctors.
Yeah, Maine can protect their citizens. So like, you know, if if somebody goes from Switzerland to Germany to get a procedure done, Switzerland isn't going to be able to sue that German doctor, realistically.
I agree.
And the German government would probably step in if that was attempted. So, yeah. And you got to remember, I think of our states as actual states, like the way that the state is defined. And then the United States, the reason I'm so against all these federal this federal stuff is because I think that each state should act as its own actual state,
Mhm.
right? Um, so yeah, when I say like think of Switzerland versus Germany in this situation, it's when I apply the thought process,
Mhm.
can Texas actually do this? I don't think so.
Okay, I'm agreeing with you there. Can Texas now? So this all seems like nonsense, but and we're in agreement. But can Texas limit the healthcare that these people get? If a doctor is saying this is healthcare, this is good, this is right, this is the academics, this is the work we've done, and this is healthcare, should the state of Texas be allowed to block it?
So someone goes to Maine,
No, someone lives in Texas,
someone lives in
goes to a
Texas,
doctor, and
goes to
says, "I would like
goes
this
to a
procedure."
doctor where?
Yeah,
In
they
Texas?
go to in Texas. So I've given up on the main thing because you
Okay,
and I
hold on.
both agree
So someone
this
is
isn't
in
fun if we
Texas.
agree.
They go to a doctor in Texas and say, "I'm transgender. I want you to perform the bottom surgery." Right?
Right, and then
Uh,
the doctor goes through all the steps. They go through what they think is medically necessary. They go through all the they do all the steps to make it medically uh, acceptable to that doctor. I mean, should the Texas government be able to stop that?
yes,
Okay, why?
because that is their right as a government, as a state. That is their right. Yes,
Okay,
just like it is the right of other states to allow that sort of procedure.
okay, yeah, yeah, that's fine. And hopefully, if we educate the Texas citizenry well enough, they will determine that that's a terrible idea, and they will vote for a different governor, and they will vote for different state laws. Right? That's how politics works, right?
That certainly is. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I think it's a bad idea. I'm morally, politically against the idea of Texas blocking those things, and I would implore everybody who lives in Texas to vote someone else in power. See,
People are responsible for their government.
we're reasonable. Look at us being all reasonable. Um, let's see, what do we get? They're going, they're going crazy. Jennifer McCary is not murder, is not equivocal, and if it wasn't, Colorado legalized both. Texas could still convict. Um, Murder and arson are not equivocal either, but we can understand interstate law using either. The real answer is that civil and criminal law are different. Okay, well, okay. I don't know what you guys are on about. Um, so I think why is Texas willing to try and sue people in another state for doing this? Why do the Texas Attorney General and the Texas lawmakers want to sue the main doctor?
Um, because they believe that the procedure being carried out is harmful to a resident of Texas.
Okay. I It's just feels. It's always feelings. It always comes down to feelings. Always. Uh, they
I don't know if
feel.
that's
It always comes down to feelings. Everything is political, and all politics is based on feelings. It's the.
well.
I didn't come to that. I didn't make
It's
that out of nowhere. It just keeps happening.
well, you have to think: is it actually harmful or is it beneficial? Right?
The doctor says it's
And
beneficial. The
sure,
the medical association says it's beneficial, but they don't feel like it's beneficial. The lawmakers are saying they know more than the medical people. And the people, and it's not even happening to them. It's not like we're forcing it on a person who writes the laws. This is an individual with freedom, and they have chosen to do this thing. And you're saying they can't have that freedom because of the feelings that other people have towards that freedom.
I gave you the reason why they're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to agree with it.
Okay. No, I'm not expecting you to defend them, but do you think this is based on their feelings?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't fucking know.
Okay. Popok saying he's going to throw a wrench in it. I plan a murder in Texas and execute it in Colorado. Planning a murder is illegal in Texas, and I can be convicted under the law. Well, if you're doing covert or not covert, overt acts towards a
In
murder,
that
then
case,
yeah, they
you
can
committed a crime
in both.
in Texas under Texas law.
Yeah,
So
and you
yes, they
committed a
can.
crime in Colorado. Yeah, I don't know how that's throwing a wrench. You committed 2 crimes, Popok.
So both of them could prosecute you.
Right. And they'll have to, their district attorneys or whatever will have to come to an agreement on where you should be tried and how and why, stuff like that. And it might become a federal case because you've crossed a state line or something along those lines. I mean, the system is set up to take care of those things. I think, unless we listen to Tommy Tuberville and nobody gets prosecuted anymore unless you love the country. Tommy Tuberville, I love the country. Tommy Tuberville, I love the country.
Good for him.
No, I do. I'm telling him
good for
that
you.
I do. Great. And have I committed a crime? Am I on my way to jail right now? According to Tommy Tuberville, I am on my way to jail.
What?
We're only putting people in jail if they love the country. And innocent people who love the country. I'm an innocent person who loves the country. According to him, I'm going to be arrested any minute.
Huh. I was responding to the chat between
You're
Shin
right.
and Popok.
I am bouncing around poorly. Go ahead.
So the original one is plan a murder in Texas, execute it in Colorado. Planning a murder is illegal in Texas, and you can be convicted. And then I think I was reading some of the conversation, and it sounds like it went to what if planning and executing a murder is legal in Colorado, but not in Texas? And what I would say to that is in Texas, if you planned that murder and you executed it in Colorado, you still broke Texas law. And you still could be tried for planning that murder in Texas.
What if planning murder was legal? I don't know why it would be, but we're playing silly devil's advocate. What if it's legal to plan it? I mean, I think you would still you might
legal everywhere.
No, only in Texas. In Texas, it's legal. It's totally acceptable to plan murders. I don't think that that's the case, but if we're getting wild hypotheticals.
If you plan murder in Texas, and then is it legal or illegal to commit a murder in Colorado?
It's illegal in Colorado to commit it. So
all right,
it doesn't change anything.
So you go over to Colorado and you commit the murder, and Colorado fucking prosecutes you.
Right. I don't think it changes anything. I don't think you've thrown any wrenches here, Popog. I'm sorry. And I don't want to get into this topic because you're not supposed to say that on YouTube. Way to go, KBP. You're going to get me banned. Hope you're happy. We want to listen to Bernie talk for a few minutes?
Sure. Let's do it.
Before I do, though, this next bit, this Bernie bit, was sent to the Discord by a friend. And so if you want to tell us what to see, what to watch, and what to pay attention to, all you got to do is go to the Discord. And then we will feel the politics with you. So let's watch what Bernie has to say. I think it's great what Bernie has to say here, and I agree with all of it, but no surprise there. All right, tell me how the volume is, everybody.
Hello, and thanks very much for joining me. In case you haven't heard, there's an election coming up this November, and it's the most important election in the modern history of our country. Now, I fully understand that while President Biden has some very significant accomplishments, which he has every right to be proud of, there are a number of areas where the administration's response to important issues has been inadequate or, in the case of Gaza, dead wrong.
Oh my God! Shots fired. Bernie's coming out swinging for Biden. Uh, I would agree with him. And what Bernie's doing here is talking to the left, who's unhappy with Joe Biden and his pro-Israeli stances. Shinson didn't even know there was an election coming up. This is why Barney has to do this stuff. What did you say, well, about Thomas?
Actually, so I'm watching this on the stream.
Mhm.
So my woe is about 10 seconds away.
Sorry. Okay, yeah, I forgot you don't hear the things that I play. I apologize.
Yeah, but it actually came at like a perfect time because
You think
I was like, "Whoa,
Joe Brandon
shots fired."
doesn't have any significant accomplishments? Is that what you would take take issue with? Okay. I'm gonna hit play. All right, here we go.
Hit the
my
play
view,
button. Yeah,
In the view of most progressives, the United States
I'll
should not
I'll
be
keep my
giving
reactions to myself
another
till the
nickel
video's over.
to Netanyahu and his right-wing extremist government to continue their horrific war against the people of Gaza. We also need to do a lot more work in addressing the massive level of income and wealth inequality, low wages, the housing crisis, our dysfunctional healthcare system, totally inadequate childcare, student debt, and the absolute need for affordable higher education, among many other issues. But while we may have our disagreements with Biden, it's important to take a minute to think about what a Trump presidency would mean to our country and, in fact, the world.
This is what I've been saying for a very long time. Here comes the Trump. He's going to tell us what he thinks is going to happen when Trump gets elected. And he's going to say some of the things that I've been saying.
If you believe in democracy,
Okay.
and I know you all do,
Boy,
if you believe in science, if you believe in justice and workers' rights, let me be very clear.
I don't know.
The next several months will be the most important.
Bernie Sanders,
modern
the
American
Jewish
history.
man, is
Yes,
sounding real
Trump
anti-Semitic right now.
Nonsense.
is a pathological liar. He's a racist, sexist,
I'm being
a xenophobe,
I know.
Facetious.
Okay.
and a religious.
Facetious.
Yup. Donald Trump
Yep.
has denied the election defeat that he experienced and is undermining American democracy every day.
Oh God, he keeps going.
Peddling conspiracy
Oh, Donald
theories
Trump.
and
He's a
converting
pathological
the Republican
liar, a racist, a xenophobe, a homophobe. Donald Trump.
Yup. And I agree completely.
to a cult of the individual.
Boy, oh boy.
Yep.
Yup.
Donald Trump
Again.
has contempt for a free media and has encouraged violence.
Wow, he
and
has a
never
lot to
before
say.
seen use
It's a very
of
dense
military and federal agents
speech.
against U.S. citizens.
But
if you believe Donald Trump's first
remember,
term
I'm like 10
was
seconds behind you,
dangerous,
so
I know.
I want you to think for a moment about what a second term would look like. If Donald Trump is elected this November, the fight against climate change
never before
is on.
seen.
Yeah, never before seen. New things that have never
Oh.
been seen before. It's going to be spectacularly bad in a way that you've never seen before. It's going to be worse than the first time.
Period. It's the end.
The fight against
people
climate
of this
change is
planet
over,
will have
period.
Yes.
Not only does Donald Trump believe climate change is a hoax, but he has and will once again appoint
Press X
agency
to
leaders
doubt.
and judges who will
I'm
undermine
pressing
our
that X
ability to
right
move
there.
toward energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And if the United States retreats from the fight against climate change, countries like China, India, and the rest of the world will follow. That would have irreversible implications for the future habitability of our planet, for our kids, our grandchildren, and for future generations. If Trump is elected in November, the already obscene levels that we are now experiencing of income and wealth inequality will only get worse. In his first administration, Trump signed tax cuts into law where 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%, while at the same time he raised taxes for middle-class families.
All
During
right,
this
pause.
current campaign,
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that the climate change thing just ended.
Okay. Is Donald Trump going to take a really good stance on climate change?
Define really good.
Make it less severe. Make us more likely to survive it.
No,
I agree.
but
I
I
don't.
also don't think that anyone actually can.
So just give up. Nothing can change it. Nothing will change. Can stop it. We can't even slow it down. It's going to be what it is going to be. Que sera, sera. Burn all the fossil fuels you want. Doesn't matter. Don't give a shit about trying to get off of them and do something else like solar or wind or anything like that. Just abandon those. They're not profitable. Maximize profit.
It's not what I said.
Well, I don't know what are we getting at? No one can change it. I mean,
Well, so here's my primary argument on this subject is our carbon emissions have been on the decline for decades at this point,
mm-hmm.
and they will continue to decline as we continue to move in the direction of electric vehicles and solar power and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
However, fossil fuels are the most efficient source of energy that exists even today.
Yes.
And countries that are developing are going to use them. What do you mean I have no comment to make, KVP? Get out of here. So, developing countries are going to use them.
Unless we intervene. Unless we had well-working solar panels that we could sell them, possibly for cheaper than the fossil fuels. But I agree with Alonix here in chat. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about climate change, and he'll make changes and actions towards a reduction of pollution. No, he won't. Trump won't move towards reducing pollution or the climate. He will move towards money, which is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels, you dig them up out of the ground, you sell them, you fucking turn a profit. You know, oil and coal companies are the most profitable companies in the world. And that's going to get us killed. I'm not even being facetious there. I think climate change, if we don't do something, will kill us.
I don't think that we have the right to tell countries like China or India, you can't use this highly efficient material in order to continue developing your country.
I agree, which is why
I
we
mean,
give them something better. Market
India
incentives.
has a lot of solar farms, and we can continue to do that. But fossil fuels are straight up just the most efficient. Like,
Okay, great. And then we'll efficiency our way to death. We'll efficiency our way, and we will just die because the climate will be unsustainable. Millions of those people will die
I mean,
because we were being
what would you
efficient.
like to do? Would you like to go to war with India because they
No,
continue to use fossil fuels?
I want to give them something better. I want to hire American people to create better solar panels. I want to take all those geniuses that are working to get oil out of the ground and repurpose them towards making better solar panels. Popog is saying that solar panel can't replace fossil fuels because it's not efficient enough and it's not cheap enough. Make it more efficient. Make it cheaper. The Model T did not
Well,
go 0 to
do
60
you think
in
that these
2.4
efforts
seconds,
are
but we
not
didn't give up on
ongoing?
it. We didn't quit on it. Those efforts are less ongoing. They are not. They are ongoing because someone might turn a profit from it someday. Because someone might be able to speculate and make some dollars.
I know someone who's working on that.
Okay.
His name is Elon Musk. You might have heard of him.
And he's only going to do that if he thinks he can turn a profit. I want economics to push innovation, but it can't if the oil and coal companies are stomping on it. And if it's cheaper to sell oil and coal to India and China, then they're going to buy the oil and the coal. Yes, I dig that. But then we're all going to suffer. They're going to die because of that oil and coal. We're going to suffer. We're going to die because of that oil and coal. Millions of people are going to die because of that oil and coal. We just
Okay.
can't prevent it. Can we not prevent things that we see coming?
What do you want us to do though? Like, do you want us to say, "Hi, India, you're not allowed to use the resource
No,
that we use to develop"?
I want to give them solar panels. I want to give
They
them wind farms that are
those things
cheaper, easier, and better.
require resources.
Yes, they do. And I want to pay people to put those resources together in America.
But I think you are suggesting, or maybe you don't realize exactly how much that your suggestions are requiring when it comes to um, straight up materials in terms of resources and cost.
Yes, it will be very difficult. It will be very expensive, and it will hopefully make a bunch of jobs if we're lucky.
Well, I'll
And
ask you
then it
this
will
then. If
save our
so,
lives.
so Bernie's argument here
Mhm.
is if Trump is elected, this won't happen.
Right. He will be
Is
on
the
board.
suggestion then that if Biden is reelected, that suddenly we'll start sending solar panels and wind farms over to India?
Far more
I
likely.
don't fucking think so.
I don't think so either, because he's not a leftist. He's a centrist. He's conserving what we have.
Well, so Bernie's whole argument is fucking moot then. It's worthless.
Wait until you get to it. Wait until we get to the end, because there's more.
I'm addressing the part of the argument that we've seen so far.
He's about to say that we need to bully Biden to move him to the left. That's what's coming.
Oh,
Because I watched
okay.
this already. Biden is not far enough left to
All
do
right.
the thing that I want and to do
Here,
the thing that Bernie wants. And Bernie's going to tell you Donald Trump sure as hell ain't going to do it, but maybe, just maybe,
let me
Biden
pull up
might.
the Bernie video so I can react in real time and not 10 seconds delayed.
You can watch it on. Are you watching on YouTube or Twitch? Because YouTube is way further behind. That's why nobody uses the YouTube chat, because it's much further behind.
Democracy is at stake video, 9 minutes long?
Yes.
All right, what?
4:18. I'm at 4:18. Tell me when to play and then tell me when to pause.
Let's go back for a second because let's see. We are talking about the climate change thing. All right, let's go back to 307 if we could.
307. Okay.
And I'm about to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Not only does Donald Trump believe climate change is a hoax, but he has and will once again appoint agency leaders and judges who will undermine our ability to move toward energy efficiency and sustainable energy. And if the United States retreats,
so this is what I was talking about. I'm not pausing.
Like China, India, and the rest of the world, that would have irreversible implications for the future habitability of our planet.
I don't think that China and India have followed us on climate emissions.
Trump is
or on carbon emissions anyway.
The already obscene levels that we are now experiencing of income and wealth inequality will only get worse. In his first administration, Trump signed tax cuts into law where 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%.
Pause.
While at the same time,
I'm at 359.
Sorry, I had it on 125.
What?
I had it on 125 speed because he's old and he talks slow. Environmentalism, then. Oh, shit, I didn't even put it up on the fucking screen. Jesus. All right. I'm bad at streaming.
Well, he says that if Donald Trump is elected, income and wealth inequality will only get worse. That's where I'm at.
Yes, I
359.
agree.
Um,
Is that not a correct statement?
on what grounds?
On the grounds that he will lower the taxes for the rich people and raise it for the middle class or the bottom class, underclass, and or allow corporations to feed off them. He's a crony capitalist, Donald Trump is. He will do what makes the money.
I don't think so.
Is regulations on bank fees for poor people the kind of thing that the right pushes? It's not. It's the kind of thing Elizabeth Warren pushes. She goes out there and says, hey, these banks are being predatory and they're taking from a million poor people. A dollar from a million poor people is a fucking $1 million, you know? So they throw those, who's fighting against junk fees? It's not Donald Trump. I'd suggest that Donald Trump is entirely junk fees. His entire business operation is junk fees. I'm being slightly facetious there, but not really. Income inequality is a thing that the left and Bernie complain about all the time.
I'd be very interested to see a chart for wealth inequality by year that shows a consistent trend, especially like from back in
I've seen some and they're gigantic.
2016.
They're massive. The rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. You haven't heard about that?
Of course I have. I'm
Okay.
just saying, I don't know that the Trump administration last time resulted in a greater wealth gap than other administrations.
He cut taxes for rich people so that they pay less into the system. He would lower the corporate tax rates and all these things. That means there's less money in the system. Either the system goes further into debt or it starts charging somebody else. And you don't like debt. You hate it when the government runs up this massive debts, and I can agree with that. I can appreciate that. So where's that money going to come from? It's not coming from the rich. It's not coming from the corporations. Who's left? The middle and the lower classes.
Budget.
The middle and the lower classes is who will pay for those things.
Well, see, we have different ideas on how to fix the debt problem. I want to reduce spending, and you want to increase taxes.
You want to reduce spending on middle and lower class people because that's where that spending goes. This spending that the Republicans want to cut is benefiting the middle and the bottom. It's the government giving them things. I'm not afraid to say that. Sometimes the liberals or the left will fancy that word up, but it is the government giving the poor people things and money. And the Republicans want that stopped so that the budget will be more in line. And then they won't have money and they'll be more poor. They'll be more destitute. They'll be worse off than they already are. What do you think that's going to do to the crime rates once people starve more often? I don't think it'll go down. Ready to hit play?
If there's more crime,
okay. Mm-hmm.
then it should be taken care of. We're going to have problems.
Right. That crime is happening because the people are impoverished. They are poor. So. They have nothing. They are willing to steal. Okay. Are you ready?
3, 2, 1, play.
In his first administration, Trump signed tax cuts into law where 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%, while at the same time he raised taxes for middle-class families. During this current campaign, Trump has promised to extend those tax cuts for the rich and to lower the corporate tax rate for companies that are making record-breaking profits. If Donald Trump is elected again in November, we can expect him and the Republican Party to escalate the attacks on women's reproductive health in this country. No, it was not enough for Trump to brag about appointing justices
Trump doesn't
who
give a fuck
overturn Roe
about
v. Wade in this country.
women's reproductive
He
health.
and
No,
many
he
other
doesn't.
Republicans
But he'll let
want
his
to go
people do what they
further.
want.
They want a federal abortion ban.
They do want the ban.
And that's what they
That's
will
not happening.
They
strive
want
for
it.
if he
They're
is
going to work
elected
towards it.
this November. If Donald Trump is elected again, it is likely, and I say this with a heavy heart, but it is likely that the almost 250-year experiment of American democracy is all but over.
That'd be right in line
It goes
with every
without
other empire.
saying that Trump tried to overturn the results of the last presidential election, but his attack on democracy goes far deeper than the violence of January 6, 2021. If Trump wins, you can expect more extreme gerrymandering,
He doesn't
more
have control over
election
that.
workers being harassed and threatened, more young people and people of color being denied their right to participate in elections. It does not end there. If Donald Trump is elected, he will once again attempt to overturn the Affordable Care Act and throw some 32 million Americans off of the health care that they currently have. If Trump is elected, he will take gigantic leaps backward on issues of education, gun control, criminal justice reform, and immigration.
Well, hold on.
Trump
Define
is elected again.
pause. Define gigantic leaps backward.
This is what I'm telling you. He is
on
agreeing
those
with me.
subjects.
This is the thing that I've been saying for a very long time. That they'll put the car in R and go backward. Gigantic leaps backward. I love that he said that. You don't get this from the Dems. You don't get this from the centrists in the middle. You get this from leftists. This is what I've been saying for a while, and Bernie's fucking saying the things that I've been saying also. I learned it from him. So it's not
Well,
like
what the
he's
fuck does he
copying
think
me.
the forward is?
Forward? Freedom for trans people to make decisions. Freedom, gay marriage is a move forward. It didn't used to be allowed. It wasn't legal for two dudes to get married in the 90s, but then some states started doing it. We moved forward, and now it's federal legally. It's legal federally.
That's not the things that he just listed.
Okay, so he said education, which I think Ron DeSantis, you and I talked about it earlier today, is taking steps backward. Ron DeSantis is driving education
gun
backwards.
control, criminal justice, and
Yes.
immigration.
Immigration, backward. Build a fucking wall. That's backward fucking thinking, if I ever heard it. You know who built walls? Fucking, that's like castles and shit. It's going to have crenulations and
I know who
murder
built
holes
walls.
and
Israel
arrow
did.
slits. And they built a wall too. Yeah, that's backward fucking thinking. Backward thinking, not forward thinking. Draw a line in the fucking sand and don't let people across unless they belong to us. That's grug-brained. That's caveman brained.
No. No.
This line in sand. No one cross line unless they one of us. You know, it's fucking basic.
These lines were agreed upon.
Right, by people a long time ago. So we need to go backward to enforcing those lines? No, let's move forward. Let's figure out why they're crossing the line. Comprehend why they want to cross the line and what to do if they do. Forward thinking, not backward thinking. China built a wall.
Yeah.
Fucking Great Wall of China. It's a wall. And what did they do? They wanted to keep certain people out of their land. Fucking backward thinking.
Nah.
No.
I don't believe in the idea that this is a forward and backward question. This is a correct or incorrect question, and the people that want to enforce borders are correct. Sorry.
They're old-fashioned and they're backward. I want to move beyond them. Tomorrow, I am not going to wake up in the 70s. I'm just not. It's going to be future tomorrow, not the past.
You're not, but you'll still be wrong.
Can we not come up with a better system? No better future. No better ideas tomorrow. Look to the past for your ideas. Look to the past for your ideas. That's republicanism right there.
Excuse me, but looking to the past to learn lessons from it is an excellent idea.
Learn lessons. Great. And when you learned what
Yeah,
was
those
wrong,
those
when
who
you
fail to
learned,
learn from the past are doomed to repeat the mistakes. Is that it?
great, yeah.
Yeah,
So the wall hasn't worked.
but it has though.
No, it hasn't.
But yeah, it
The
has.
majority of people come on planes.
So
The
like
wall
when I look
doesn't work.
when I look at the past in terms of like other countries that have tried it, illegal border crossings in Hungary after they built their wall dropped by 98%. Illegal border crossings in Israel when they built their walls dropped by 99%. Their terrorism decreased by an unbelievable amount when that wall was built. Enforcing your border fucking works, and we should enforce
It
a border.
doesn't work.
Sorry.
We're not going to enforce it, boss. The wall will not be
Why are we not going
enforced.
to enforce the border?
Because Mexico is our biggest
Because
trading
you
partner.
guys don't want to.
They're our
The left
biggest
doesn't want to
trading
enforce the
partner.
border.
They're our biggest trading partner. Millions of people cross that thing every fucking month, legally, properly. They are our biggest trading partner. We trade with them more than anybody else. Millions of people cross legally every month. It won't do anything. That wall will do nothing.
It'll
The
do
people
plenty.
will, no, it won't. It will
It'll be
do
fine.
fucking
And
nothing.
also, we need to enforce when people stay here too long. We catch them and send them back.
We should have a path for them to become citizens.
Guess what?
Guess
what?
What?
One political party, one of our candidates
Mhm.
is willing to do that, and one is not. And I don't think that's backwards. It's just correct.
Donald Trump has talked about making fucking trains and sending 11 to 12 million people out of this country. That's fucking backward. That is backward thinking. He wants
People
to
that don't
round them
belong
up
here
and
don't
throw them the
belong
fuck
here.
out. I don't give a shit. Make a
I know
system
you don't.
where they can become Americans. But that's forward thinking. And he ain't all about it. He ain't about that at all. Round them up, put them on fucking trains, throw them the fuck out. Backward thinking. The Dems aren't that much better on this. The left, I think, has a good plan, path toward citizenship. The Dems want to fucking do nothing because they want to sit completely still and fucking not make anybody mad. They don't want to do waves, which is why I suggest to you that Biden is not a leftist. He is a centrist. The centrist answer, which you get from Dems, and I'm unhappy with that, is that you don't fucking do anything. Sit still, throw some money at it, ignore it. Maybe it'll go away. And campaign on it poorly. The Dems aren't great. I wish Bernie were running. I'd have way more respect for the Dems if they followed Bernie's advice. Want to continue? I think he's almost done. I'm at 6:32.
Sure. Hold on. So I have
Mhm.
more than just the immigration problem with that sentence he just said.
Mhm.
There was so much bullshit.
Oh, that was so much truth.
Okay. So gun control. We know
Yes.
that both of us disagree on gun control.
Sure.
100%. And I don't think it's forward progress to continue to restrict people's ability to own a gun. So, again, it's not going backwards to let people own guns. And it's certainly not going forward to start restricting people's ability to own them. And then there's criminal justice reform.
Register them.
Excuse me, but
Register them.
wasn't
Why is that some sort of fucking nightmare? Register the damn things. If you bought
guns
it,
are registered? Yes. It's
not
legally
completely.
required to register them.
And you can't put it in a computer database. Why can't we put that registration in a computer database? It's only allowed to be on paper because the fucking people, the gun nuts, are nuts, and they're scared to death that the government will know how many guns they have, and they don't want somebody to go into a computer database and look up how many they have because then they'll become a target.
I'll agree.
And then a target.
Look, I'll agree that yes, it should be allowed to be digitized. That's fine.
Okay. More registration. And gun shop owners don't have to do like computer fucking registration and shit like that. They don't have to do inventory, I think is the word. If you own a gun shop and you don't have to do inventory, you don't. You know what that leads to? Secret backdoor deals. Them secretly selling shit to people they're not supposed to sell shit to. We could put together some legislation has come forward to say, hey, if you own a gun store, you should do an inventory, and we should know who you're selling your guns to. And they have fucking fought against it. The NRA hates that idea.
Okay, I get it.
That is a forward-moving
Hold
position.
On. Wait a second.
That's forward.
When Biden was elected
mm-hmm.
in 2020,
mm-hmm.
he had majorities in the House and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
How come that didn't get done?
Because he's a centrist who doesn't want to do anything. Boss.
So
Joe Biden's a centrist.
Wait a second. But we're watching a Bernie Sanders video where
he's
saying
taking
that
leftist positions.
If Trump gets elected, we're fucked.
Yes.
Is what he's saying.
Correct.
And at the same time, nothing is happening by Biden to actually do these things anyway.
He's going to talk about that at the end. He's going to talk about it at the end. He's going to address that issue that you just brought up. He's going to address it in about 2 minutes.
All right. Last thing on this stopping point. I'm currently, where do we stop? 6:28, I think.
I'm at 6:32, but I can go to.
All right, 6:32. So I'm at 6:25 because I wanted to see the caption to see all the bullshit that he brought up. Criminal justice reform.
Yes.
Did or did not the First Step Act be passed under the Trump administration?
Yes, it was.
So we made progress on
so that was
criminal
forward.
justice reform
I'm glad he did that.
Under Trump.
I'm glad he did that. That was forward progress. I sure like it when Donald Trump makes forward progress.
So we have history of Trump being in office saying he has engaged in criminal justice reform. And as I recall, this act actually was one that he championed and brought up as a great step when he did his State of the Union. That it might have been the one that Pelosi tore up.
Might have been.
So Bernie is saying, you elect Trump, criminal justice reform is fucked. But
that's
last time
we elected
Trump, we got some criminal justice reform. Interesting.
I'm okay with saying that Donald Trump did that thing, and I'm glad he did that thing. I'm
saying that history does not support the claim.
History doesn't support that sentence. That one bit of the sentence, maybe. But I don't know off the top of my head any other criminal justice reforms or the lack thereof, or the backward moving of criminal justice in the states and things like that. So maybe he's wrong on that one sentence. Criminal justice reform. According to you, you've got a pretty good argument there that he is wrong on this one. I think he's right about gun control and immigration, though.
Well, I mean, you ever heard the saying, if you lie about one thing, you lie about everything?
That's a stupid sentence, and I would not support the idea of it. I'm going to press the... You ready to go?
Yeah.
3, 2,
we're
1.
At 6:32.
Oh, wait, I went back. 6:32, 1, 2, 3, go.
It would strengthen the hands of authoritarian leaders all over the world. Leaders like Orban in Hungary, Putin in Russia, and many other countries, such as Saudi Arabia, the Philippines, and elsewhere, all over the world. Demagogues and authoritarian leaders would rejoice if Trump gets elected.
What?
They would.
So,
he's best friends with Orban. He just met with him last week.
Is at stake this November. So the question is, what do we do about it? Well, in my view, it goes without saying that we have got to do everything we can to defeat Donald Trump and to re-elect Joe Biden. No excuses. But we also have another very important task in front of us. We must do everything possible to re-elect our progressive friends.
He didn't say Democrats.
Congress against the enormous opposition and the millions and millions of dollars of special interest money that is being thrown against them. We must also do our best to elect new progressive leaders at the local, state, and federal levels.
Okay, this is boilerplate
We
stuff.
must also
No, it's
work
not.
together,
It's absolutely
all
not.
of
He's
us
not saying
throughout this
Democrats.
country,
He's not saying
to
Joe
push
Biden.
President
Yes, he's
Biden
saying Biden.
to enact a progressive agenda for
A
his
progressive
second term.
agenda for his second term.
An agenda that makes clear that he is fighting for working families and is prepared to take on the money and the power of Wall Street and the corporate world. So, my friends,
You're not playing the video on
this
stream, by the way.
is a monumental moment. And one thing that we cannot do is bury our heads in the sand. Complacency is not an option. We've got to stand up, we've got to fight back, and we've got to make sure that the world and the country that we leave our kids and future generations is something that we are proud of. So thank you all very, very much. I look forward to working with you in the months ahead.
He didn't say shit about bullying Biden. What are you talking
He said
about?
force him to. He said.
We need a progressive agenda, is
Yes.
what he said.
Push
Okay,
Biden to
that's
pass a
fine.
progressive agenda, because he isn't right now. Push Biden to pass a progressive agenda. The left doesn't want to vote for Biden because he's too centrist. They don't. I listen to them. I look at what they're talking about, and they're all pissing and moaning and shitting about not voting for Biden. And YouTube's full of fucking leftists. They don't get many views, but I go there and I listen to them, and what they say is, don't vote for anybody. Don't vote at all. And that's insane to me. Bernie hears them say that just the same way I do, and he puts out a video saying you have to vote for Biden, and we will push him to pass progressive left-wing ideology and left-wing policies.
I think Bernie, in the context, that makes a lot of sense because obviously I disagree with Bernie on a lot of this recording.
Mhm.
But this is a video that is targeted towards the left-wing voters that have checked out, basically.
They're apathetic.
already.
Yes, that's who this
Yes.
is for. Yes.
Yeah, and that makes sense. In terms of that, if I look at it through that lens, if I were an apathetic leftist, it's probably a good video. I just disagree with a lot of, from my perspective, a lot of what he said. So.
Okay, that's fine. That is, well, Bernie leftist progressive, so you would disagree with a lot of the things he says. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think he's right. I think is that not the things that I've been saying as well?
Yeah, that's why we have arguments every stream.
Okay. So Bernie said it and I liked it. I guess that's the message of this part of the stream. Bernie said it and I liked it.
And I didn't.
And you didn't. That is okay. I guess that we're done then. Shit. I'm testing out Cake Chat. 1 sec. I don't think KBP's messages have been coming through. Seems like it's there. Cake Chat's been really weird today. So sorry to anybody in Cake Chat. It's just KBP at this point, honestly. I'm not seeing your messages and stuff like that. That sucks. I'm sorry. Or maybe I'm just not paying attention. Yeah, that's all the politics. Has anybody else got anything to say about it? Let's check on chat. They're arguing about the Second Amendment, which is great. Because that argument will be settled easily, I'm sure. KBP sees them. Okay, well, I was wondering why I wasn't noticing them. I probably wasn't paying attention, KBP. Sorry. And I'm bad at streaming, so I keep putting my face on there instead of Bernie's. It's because I'm trying to steal his thunder. Bernie learned everything he knows from me, obviously. That's the message I'm trying to get across to everyone. That Bernie learned everything he knows from me. I taught it to him.
Yes, just like Obi-Wan taught Anakin everything he knows.
Yeah, exactly. I am.
Same
Yeah,
relationship there.
yeah. I taught Bernie everything he knows, and he should appreciate me more. Uh, just being silly. So yeah, that was sent to us by somebody in the Discord. If you want us to look at the news and feel it with you, toss it into the Discord. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know what you're feeling. And Popog has a chat thing. I have a chat thing, like, but not about Bernie. Did you put it on the thing where I can see it? No? Okay. He's got a chat thing. I'm going to turn on the Lady Canooch for another couple of minutes, but I'm probably not going to be available for very long. All right. It's about school stuff. Popok, what school stuff? Oh, is this way back when you were trying to convince me that you were going to win $1? Popok and I have a bet for $1, and I think he's trying to convince me. He's trying to trick me into it, even though we're a year away from it. You said California.
You said that California I could add stuff that Thomas didn't like.
Well,
But they already do. They have CRT in schools, for example.
no, they don't have CRT in schools. That's a lie from right-wing grifters. They're not teaching CRT in schools. CRT, critical race theory, is a
I will bet you one that they do have
college
CRT in schools.
level. CRT is a college level thing that is teaching people how to do analysis. If that analysis then leads to ending, if that analysis leads to some sort of lesson or understanding, then they will pass that. They'll pass it down. I have no doubt that you can find some words in CRT that will be in a high school curriculum. They also use the English language. I mean, that doesn't mean that they have anything to do with each other. Popok. Feel free to link it, and I will look at it. Thomas, are they teaching CRT in high schools?
I don't know,
and
but I wouldn't put it past them.
If they are, is that something terrible?
The state decided that was what was correct. If that's the case, then the state made its choice.
This was also from 2018.
From 2018. Oh my.
That's fine. I mean,
wasn't he fear-mongering that it was being taught in kindergarten?
California is teaching critical race theory, and it's part of the school curriculum that was
might have changed since
from
then.
People that were elected by the people of the state.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? That's what they get.
Okay.
Like, I mean, the same way I keep saying, like, people are responsible for their government. That government's responsible for the curriculum. People are responsible for it.
It has changed and curriculum has been fully adopted and is now used in all California public schools.
Okay, and Popog,
that's fine.
Thomas, if the administration, if the educators have said this is valuable to teach the children.
The educators, or rather the school board that was elected, yes.
Yeah, that seems good to me. That seems like a good thing. I don't want a elected senator to choose that. I want that school board to choose
the elected school board chose it.
Yeah,
or maybe the elected governor chose it.
And even if it is CRT and woke and
so hold
DEI,
on a second.
If they have determined that that's what's good for the kids, then that's what's good for the kids.
Wait, so this is a California thing, so it actually would be at the state level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like a county in California where there's a school board. So
he hasn't given me a link yet, so I'm not sure what it is.
People in California have elected representatives, and those representatives said, yes, we should have CRT in our high schools. Then that's fine.
I don't want the government to push that. I don't. I really don't. Even if it's a thing I agree with, I don't want the government to push
I think that's a good thing.
Well, no, I want the educators. I didn't say the legislature pushing it down is a good thing. I said the administrators of the school. I said the school board and the people that are educationally aligned have decided that this is a valuable thing, and that's good. If the state elected representative said this is a good thing and I demand it be taught in school, I don't like that, even if it's a thing I agree with. If a state senator says 2 plus 2 is 4 and I demand that be taught, I'd be like, slow down there, boss. Let's have the educators determine what 2 plus 2 is. And then when the education experts put that into a curriculum, I accept it. I don't accept it from him, the government guy, because I want that air gap. I want the government guy to give them money.
If you claimed there was white supremacy
Okay,
in
that's fine.
Florida
I mean, we
schools
can
because there's a new class
disagree on
being
the
taught,
idea that CRT
that is
should be
about the
taught in schools.
superiority of white
And
people, and I
also,
dismiss it as it's
you
all
could,
English.
but you
That's
agree
lame.
with the fact that it should be.
Even went as far
And
as
then
doing a control F and to
Also,
find the
even
words
though
CRT.
the state of California,
Couldn't.
The government did do that, and it's something that you agree with. You don't agree with the fact that it was the state government that made that choice to include it in the school curriculum.
Sure, yeah. If the state says this is curriculum, I'm unhappy with it. If the educators say this is the curriculum we want to pass, and that's fine with me. I don't want that coming from a politician. That's all. And I think that Ron DeSantis is pushing it. What can and can't be said, and I don't like that
Oh,
from
we're
a
talking about
politician.
California.
In California, if they're pushing it too, I don't like that. I don't want a liberal in California pushing what is and isn't being taught. I don't, even if I agree with it. I turned Lady Canuch off because it's too distracting. If you're on, we're just gonna leave Canuch off. I can't have her talking in my ear while Thomas is talking, unless somebody finds a way for Thomas to hear it, which I can't. I'm not intelligent. Popog saying that he linked the thing. I haven't seen what he's linked. I don't see it anywhere. But I'm about done for today anyway. So
Yeah, it's time for lunch.
yeah, it's time for lunch. Here's what we'll do. I will do the outro, and Popog, if you want to put the thing on the Discord, I'll look at it. Any parting words there, Thomas?
Da-da-da. It's the motherfucking THOMAS.
Brilliant. Excellent job. That was the cringiest thing I think I've ever heard, but to live is to cringe, and so I'm okay with it. I appreciate it.
It was the first thing that came to mind.
That's it for us today. My name is Waldo. I appreciate everybody who's here. If you want to contribute, you can do so at the Discord, which is here on the screen. If you want to watch old videos, you can do that as well at the YouTube channel, which is right here. Click on those, go there, click the sub button, click the follow button, click the like button, click the bells, the whistles, the thumbs ups, the thumbs downs, the faces, the emotes. Click all the buttons, and that will make the algorithm like me. And if it likes me, then more people get to come into chat and yell at us and harass us, and then I'll be happier because that'll make me happier. And you want to make me happy, don't you? I understand. You guys are here to make me happy. I appreciate that. Popog's doing something different with his tribute. I don't know what he's doing, but it's gross. That is it for us today. We will be back on Monday. I'll be back on Monday. You going to be here Monday night, Thomas? You're probably not, right?
Wednesdays and Saturdays. Those are my days.
Wednesdays and Saturdays. Those are your days. Yes. So I'll be back on Monday night. We will look at the latest news. We'll look at the headlines, and then probably play a video game. And that will be it for Monday. And then Wednesday, Thomas will probably be here, and we will look at the news, maybe play a game then too. And then Saturdays, we get a little more deep and into the weeds, as it is.
We should invite, what's that fucking thing? Scribble?
Scribble.
Is that what it's called?
Like Garlic
You ever
Phone?
go to,
The game
Yeah.
where you draw the things. We could play Garlic Phone and then have a couple of people jump in. That would be fine for a Wednesday night stream. I'd like that. Wednesday nights are usually a little bit slow. There's not a lot of people watching streams on a Wednesday night, apparently. But that's okay.
Yeah, we could use Scribble.io. is the
Okay.
website. We can invite some of our chatters on to play Scribble with us.
Sounds good to me. Wednesday night, scribble.io. This sounds acceptable to me. All right.
First 5 chatters to join in.
Yeah, whoever gets in
over to
first.
the stream channel.
Yeah. Everybody else just has to watch. I like that.
Yep.
That sounds good. All right. That is it for us. Good night, and well, have a good day. Goodbye.